Hey, good morning. How y'all doing? It is Well Red Beard. It is a damn fine day to talk about a book. We are here for a book review, and today we're going to talk about Looking Glass Sound by Catriona Ward. I really like this book. I'm gonna say 4-star liked this book. I don't think anybody out there is writing like Catriona Ward. This is my third read from her, having done The House on Needless Street, or is it The Last House on Needless? Anyway, that one, Sundial, and now this one. So Needless Street was the first one I read, and like I dug it, but then like I didn't like the twist, the way things were explained away at the end. I mean, it felt a bit like a dirty trick, but that is kind of what Ward does. I mean, again, like I said, I don't think anyone is writing the way she is. I really liked Sundial. I think a 4-star like Sundial. This one's right up there, 4 to 4.5 stars, but there's just layers in these books that I don't. I mean, I don't think I've ever read anything else like them. There's layers to the fiction, and it's easy to get confused, to get mixed up, to have things revealed at the end, and you're like, wait, what? And you kind of, you maybe you missed something before. In this one in particular, uh, there are books within this book. There are things, there are tellings of things that have happened that are real, but they're being retold in different ways, and it affects, I mean, everything from the way things played out, but to characters' timelines, to whether a character lived or died, and things like that. And so there were some parts where I was like, wait, what? But really liked this book. So I'll tell you that I loved like the first 100 pages of it. I loved, we start on a story about a seaside town in Maine, and three, young teenagers meet over the course of a summer, and it's got all of that, Stand By Me, um, coming of age type magic. It has all of that, but that is not our entire story. And I kind of thought it was going to be. Like, I kind of thought I was going to be with Nat and Wilder and Harper throughout the course of the book at that young teenage age. And you're not. I mean, things change, about a third of the way through the book. And I'm not going to say that I didn't like it, but that happens a lot, right? Well, first of all, do I, why do we as adults, why are we so attracted to stories about, youth, about teenagers, about that coming of age type thing? Like, why is that? I mean, there are tons of Stephen King books where the primary character is a kid. Why why are we so attracted to those types of stories? I don't know. But I do know that once I get in with that, and once I, dig in with these characters, and kind of love the way a story's going, and then they get old, or they don't, but we move on. I'm a little bit depressed about that. But so in this story, in the summer of, I want to say it was 1991, because I think the second summer was 1992. I could be wrong, but again, there are women disappearing uh, around this seaside town, and there's also someone called like the Dagger Man of Whistler Bay, that's real, and Polaroids are found of young children with a knife to their throat, and the person does this, takes the picture, and leaves the picture behind, but these kids aren't dying. but there's missing women and there's Polaroids of kids with, yeah, so a lot of stuff like that, a lot of mystery and intrigue going on with that. And another thing that this looks at is, um, I guess when you live through something like that, the question is who has ownership of that story? Because as you know, I think Wilder, who is again kind of our main character in the first 100 pages, and has lived through what happens with those missing women, what happens with the Dagger Man, I mean, have these women been killed? Who is the killer? So on and so forth. I'll probably get into that and give you a little bit more detail on that. But who owns that story? Because on one level he thinks that he owns it. He lived through it. But he didn't. Well, anyway, but there's definitely a conflict of who owns this story, and so, anyways, all that happens, and I'm trying to figure out like what to give and what not to give, but all that happens, and then we kind of jump forward to like after the fact. And again, these three kids, they you know they kind of say, hey, we're going to come back here and meet every summer, and I believed it. I believed that we were going to come back here every summer, and we do. We come back the next summer, but the next summer, all of that shit, all of the missing women, the murder, the kids with the knife, the Polaroids, all of that shit comes to a head, and it comes out into the open. And I'm not going to go into who was the guilty party, but it's all it's all out there, and really it kind of just sets the entire um you know summer coming of age magic. It kind of just closes all that down, and our kids go their separate ways. But Wilder, is going to write this book. He's you know been writing it in like a memoir format. He's got a notebook with all the clippings from the missing women, and who they were, and all this, and he's going to write this book. Now he meets someone in college that befriends him, and they become close, and this person actually encourages him to reach out to the killer, and go visit the killer in prison. And but then this person steals all of his writing and all of his stuff, and disappears, and ends up writing and publishing the book. So there's that aspect of it. Now, um, again, like I said, there are layers, and because of this, because Wilder wrote a book, and this other person wrote a book, and then this other person went on to write another book to try to explain. There's like, I mean, I saw someone say there's like 5 books in this book, and I know I'm being confusing. This can be confusing, but it's an enjoyable type of confusing. At least it was for me. And So it all comes down to the end and what happens to Wilder and who Nat actually was. And Wilder loved Harper, but Harper loved Nat, and there is this magical circular quality to them all actually in some way kind of coming back to the seaside town, the beach, together, like they said they always would. And I don't know. Like I said, it's not. You're reading this, and you kind of miss that. Okay, I'm reading so and so's version of this, and so you read like a long piece about a character, and then when that ends, you're like, but wait, maybe this character died, and we're kind of reading fiction within fiction. There's some of that happens, and it again, like I said, it was enjoyably confusing, if that's possible. I'm at 4 to 4.5 stars. It's probably, mm, I mean, short of Stephen King's You Like It Darker, it's probably my favorite book that I've read in a while. Um, Ward, unless I'm mistaken, only has 4 books out there. And like I said, I've read 3 of them. I'm going back to get Little Eve, which I think was her first book. I could be wrong about that. Um, I might be wrong about that actually, because the order that they're written here in this is The Last House on Neither Street, Sundial, and Little Eve. I just assumed that Little Eve was first, and that's why I missed it because I had not heard about Ward until because The Last House on Neither Street, when it came out, it had quite a bit of buzz, in my opinion. Um, but maybe I just missed Little Eve between Sundial and this one. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, just a lot going on, layers, um, awesome, coming of age story for the first 100 pages, and then you get into um, you know, deceit and theft of art and the whole idea of who owns, like a lot of people are involved in. I mean, I think there was like 10 missing women. A lot of people are involved in that from a lot of different angles. I mean, there's a lot of people affected by that that all feel that they own that story or their own segment of that story. There's also uh, a lot of stuff about living forever in a book. Like if you're in a book, like if you've been written about, that kind of gives this eternal life, so to speak, within the pages of the book. There's some magical stuff there as far as the way that is delivered on the page and the way that that is written. That yeah, again, not really like anything I've read, and just very very original in the way that she delivers twists, but also just in kind of like the methodology of getting there, I guess. Anyway, I've talked a lot. I don't think I've given too much away about the plot. Really, really like this book. Definitely going to be one of my favorites of the year. Yeah, this is Well Read Beard. This is Looking Glass Sound by Catriona Ward. Dug the absolute hell out of it. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're enjoying all your books, all of them, as much as I am. If not, you're reading the wrong damn books.